Fishes. Fishes.
Right. All right. As soon as I figure out how to stop sharing, we'll get this working. How's everybody doing? It's been a crazy long week, and it's only Thursday. Welcome to the Growing with Fishes podcast, episode 215. We were just joking about this right before the show, on how, it's been quite a few episodes.
What's the general theme?
Yes. We thought it had been quite a few, so it's pretty awesome. Anyways, we thought we'd give you guys a bit of a quick preview. We have the virtual Aquaponic Cannabis Conference this weekend, October 3rd and 4th. We have a super awesome lineup coming up. I'm your host, Steve from Ponics, and Marty is your co-host from AP Meds.
How's it going, everybody?
All right, so we have the virtual Aquaponic Cannabis Conference right here on the Ponics YouTube channel, October 3rd. We have, I will be speaking first at 8 a.m. Pacific, and then followed by me will be Angela Tenenbrock. She will be speaking on food safety and biosecurity in your aquaponics facility or your cannabis facility in general. She's a food safety auditor and inspector, and is a very, very knowledgeable person when it comes to aquaponics and soil and cannabis and vegetables and all types of things food safety related. She's really kind of a guru of all things food safety. So she's going to be awesome in talking to us about that portion of aquaponic cannabis. We have Roger Loper from True Aquaponics. He's going to be talking to us about nutrients and all the different wonderful things that he's been doing and the community that he's been growing over there at True Aquaponics, and some of the different nutrients that people use in aquaponic cannabis. We have Matthew Gates, also known as Sink Angel on Instagram, or Zenthanol on YouTube. He's quite the insect and pest management guru. He's going to be giving us an hour-long talk on pest management, which is going to be quite extensive and quite informative. He's one of my favorite people to talk to on a regular basis. We have Brian Flippenwich will be speaking to us during the lunch hour. We might have another surprise guest there during the lunch hour. We'll see who pops on. And then we'll be on to Breeder Steve at 1 o'clock Pacific time, speaking to us about aquaponic cannabis. He's one of the first person to write about aquaponic cannabis way back in 1997 on overgrow.net. A lot of people don't know that. He also is running a very large bioponic aquaponic cannabis system, the largest in the world as far as I'm aware, in Colombia, doing an enormous aquaponic cannabis facility. It's multiple acres. It's huge. It's absolutely enormous. So it'd be really cool to talk to him about that. Then we'll followed by Breeder Steve. We'll have Chris Trump speaking on pre-natural farming in aquaponics and some of the different things that you can use in aquaponics from the pre-natural farming realm. And then we'll followed by him will be Dr. Wilson Leonard. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. Dr. Wilson Leonard. He's an aquaponic expert from Australia, author of Commercial Aquaponics, quite an immense, extensive book. He'll be speaking on some of his research on aquaponic cannabis. He's been working on an aquaponic cannabis project down in Australia, and he'll be presenting his first data on that. He hasn't really spoken about it publicly, so really excited to hear about that. It's gonna be really cool. And then we have a breeder panel. We have Dragonfly Earth Medicine, which I don't think they need much of an introduction. They're incredible people, and some of the most knowledgeable people when it comes to sustainable and regenerative production, and some of the producers of some incredible cannabis, including one of my favorite strains, G13 hash plant cross. Then we'll have Wade Laughter as well, father of many of the common CBD cultivars out there. and the gentleman who helped bring a lot of that to the industry, and just an all-around great guy in terms of helping get patients the CBD medicine they need. And then Rasta Jeff, who's created many a wonderful cultivar, including a Rise, which is quite popular in Colorado. And then on October 4th, we'll be having Joe Pate start the day off at 8 a.m. Pacific, talking about beyond standard nutrient model, talking about humic acids and fulvic acids, a bunch of other awesome stuff. So that'll be really awesome. We'll have followed by him will be Josh Rutherford from Dutch Blooms. He'll be speaking on large scale hybridizing aquaponics into your soil grow. People that are doing more of a dem pure or sustainable soil or sun, moon, earth type people, how to incorporate aquaponics into those types of grows, how aquaponics can be a portion of your larger soil, sustainable soil farm, and how they can be a piece of your puzzle, which is really cool, and a lot of awesome information, a lot of video from his farm live, which is going to be really cool. We'll have Marty Wydell, co-host here. Marty, do you want to tell us what you're speaking about?
I'm a little on the fence, actually. I've got 2 different decks that I'm working on. So I think I might end up just kind of combining the 2 of them. But some of my more successful, like U siphons and loop siphons, I think would be interesting to do. I'm trying to find stuff that people aren't already covering. And we have 2 days worth of professionals and on the panel already that are covering so much stuff that I wasn't sure what I wanted to cover. But I do think that that some of my, like I was saying, my more successful ones. I was also thinking maybe some of my favorite episodes of the podcast, just kind of recapping some of those. So I might do like a 15-minute session of like my top 5, because I get questions about that all the time. So I thought that might be kind of interesting. So if you guys have any suggestions in chat for stuff that you haven't heard about yet, you want more information on, definitely do that. So we'll take a tour of the flower room, bedroom, cloning setup, stuff like that, and look at some of my more successful stuff there. And yeah, still formulating, but we'll do some fun stuff. And I do think we'll probably dip into some of the podcast episodes that have been either just really fun or inspirational, fun stuff like that.
Awesome. Then followed by Marty is the queen of KNF, Wendy Cronenberg. I think she's one of the, if not the most forefront woman in the KNF scene. I think I don't think there's any other woman that I'm aware of that has done as much to kind of push KNF forward or natural farming forward in the U.S. Super stoked to have her speak about other Korean natural farming techniques that can also be used in both soil and aquaponics. So it'll be really, really awesome having both her and Chris as part of the panel. So super stoked on that. Get a lot of in-depth natural farming info. And then after that, we'll have Scotty Reel from the Do Grows podcast and Do Grows crew. We'll be speaking about recharge and microbes. And then after him will be Dinesh. Oh man, you know what? I don't want to butcher your last name. So Dinesh from Optic Foliar. We'll be speaking after Scotty on his stuff. So that'd be awesome during the lunch hour. And then we'll have Brendan Strath from Spectrum King. He's been one of our more popular guests and one of the most informative guests that we've had on the show. We'll be talking about lighting in aquaponics and cannabis. So that'll be super, super awesome for an hour. And then after him, we'll have Leanne Keys, who's going to give us a tour of his facility up at Habitat Life. We're going to get a private behind-the-scenes tour of Habitat Life, which is going to be really, really awesome. He's going to give us kind of an explanatory walkthrough of his facility, which is going to be really, really awesome for the conference. So, and then after him, we're going to have Murray Hollum. He's going to be talking about his flowering stuff and some of the other cool projects he's been working on, as well as just some basics on aquaponic system design. So that'll be really awesome as well. And then after that, we have to close the conference, we're going to have a commercial producers panel. We'll have Tanner Stewart of Stewart Farms up in Canada. We'll have myself, we'll have Bain Howard of Vertica Aquaponics, which is down here in Oklahoma. I've worked with him closely over there. It's quite a cool facility they got going on. And if you haven't had a chance to check out any of their dispensaries, I believe they have 4 or 5 dispensaries around Oklahoma. Definitely check them out. They're some of the nicer dispensaries in the state. We have Dylan McAdam, who has one of the coolest grows in all of Canada. He grows up in the far north of Saskatchewan. And one of the more northern, probably in terms of latitude, aquaponic cannabis growers on the planet. Certainly one of the more northern aquaponic growers, period, on the planet as well, in terms of latitude. And then Marty will also be joining us, and then Leanne Keys will also be joining us as well from Habitat Life. So we'll kind of have a broad spectrum of different commercial aquaponic cannabis producers that are all running or consulting on large-scale aquaponic cannabis grows at this time. So if anyone has any questions on that, we'll bring up a couple of topics, and then we'll take some questions from the crowd to kind of close things out. So really going to be an awesome conference. We have giveaways from Mammoth Microbes. We got a Recharge, Optic Foliar, Foop Nutrients, True Aquaponics Nutrients, and a whole bunch of surprises we have in store for you guys. Some other cool stuff we're hoping is ready on time. We have some stuff that I'm kind of holding back because we're having some website issues, but if everything goes together, I think we're gonna have some really cool surprises over the course of the weekend for you guys that we haven't posted publicly yet. So definitely stay posted for that. And just really excited to have kind of 2 straight days of aquaponic cannabis education. I think a lot of us are kind of starving for going, these types of events, and to be able to put something like this together and have the community kind of come together. I'm incredibly grateful for everyone's time and taking the time to help educate everybody and taking the time to put this together. It took quite a bit of work to put this all together, and I really appreciate everybody's time to participate in this and just make the world better by getting this information out there. So super stoked.
Yeah, thanks to everyone that shows up every week and hangs out and chat and asks great questions. We really wanted to do something to kind of create some new content for everybody who's stuck inside. It's great that we got so much content already that's already out there. There's tons of stuff to do, but everybody's always looking for new stuff, and to organize so much stuff into one weekend, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, we're hoping. Yeah, I think never mind. I was gonna mention something that we might have open, but I think I'll hold back. Other than that, I think we might have a few surprise guests during the transitions. We have some cool people that are going to pop in, say hi, and who knows what else might be given away over the course of the weekend, particularly for American and Canadian residents. We have some stuff available, and then trying to Australian residents as well. I think we're going to have some giveaways available as well. So definitely looking forward to that. And then what have you been doing this week, the last week and a half? I know it's been kind of crazy. Everyone's been really busy. What have you been up to?
Yeah, shit's finally calming down a little bit, where we're not just I finally haven't had to do too many supply drops for people or stuff like that. For those of you guys who haven't been tuning in, I guess we've had a number of people have their lose their homes to wildfire here locally. Basically, 2 towns are either mostly or half gone: Talent and Phoenix, Oregon. And then on top of that, in Northern California, the Slater fire around Happy Camp, which is where I'm from, we lost so much. Just about half the town, a number of different houses, my dad's homestead, my aunt's homestead, my brother's homestead, all just toast. So that took took a lot. We can't even get in there and look at it, so that's difficult. It's basically been declared a disaster area, so there's so many trees and stuff across the road that you can't even get in there without an escort. So right now they're prioritizing everyone that still has a house standing. They get to go in and check on stuff first, or people that have animals. So it's probably going to be another month or so before we even get to assess the damage. But just, we've gotten pictures that have come out, and there's, nothing but the foundation left. The chicken coop survives at my dad's place. that's it out of 3 homesteads, 3 houses, 2 barns, 3 woodsheds, carports, everything just toast. So that's been a lot to deal with, but finally it's been calming down a little bit. People are at least settled in their temporary locations and have all the supplies they need, like clothes and the basics and stuff. And now it's just like dealing with insurance companies and FEMA and other stuff that you don't want to do after you've already had to deal with all this other shit. But I did get some time to work in the garden today. I've got half of it fill up with clones. The other half I did with those seeds. So I planted those seeds from Mr. Green Jeans, which was Pineapple Jack and how does he say the other one? Is it like Kajoa Kush or something like that?
Kajoa Kush.
Yeah. So those are the 2 that I planted. And these are going to be the ones that are going to be planted in dual root zone pots. And they're just going to be sprouted in the spot that they are going to flower at. So they won't be moved at all. So we'll grow them up big enough to clone them and veg them out a little bit. But so these will be kind of like a mini pheno hunt. So I'll have half clones and half seed plants. Then obviously I'm expecting some males. So that's one thing I'll have to keep a close eye on are the seed plants and make sure that we get those sexed right away and pull the males out. But aside from that, garden wise, things are cooling down at night. So that's always helpful. That's another thing I'll probably talk about a little bit too. That's in my other deck. If I don't do the favorite podcast stuff, is the automation stuff that I was doing with temperature and humidity, kind of like a ghetto environmental setup with a weather station. But just talking about automation is what's on the other part of my deck. But that's the stuff that I've been working on. So I've got everything readjusted for veg now, so that all of my rules for my software are set up for veg temperature and humidity settings. What else did I do in the garden recently? Cleaned my filters because the smoke was horrible, so definitely got those cleaned out. We were losing some airflow, I'm pretty sure, because they were so clogged up. We had ash that was falling here pretty consistently. The one little outdoor plant that I had outside in my little outdoor system just got covered in ash, so that sucked. But yeah, that's kind of the garden stuff that I have going on. I've still got clones going of Thorsberry, Sunset Sherbert, and Snowman. So those are the clones that I'm working with on this round, I guess. And I think that's about it for garden stuff. Just getting my food dialed back in for veg, so up in my feed schedule as I get more plants in there. Yeah, that's been my garden stuff. What about you? I know you've been in the lab a lot, right?
Yeah, we've been setting up a new grow space. There's a grow space I'm kind of taking over that was running a different, running all soil and had some issues. So just kind of finishing up getting the last few plants out of there and then kind of dismantling everything so we can deep clean. And then we'll be setting up some breeding stuff. Going to do some open pollination of the Zimland race, and then we'll do an open pollination tent in the same room of the Zamal, the Reunion Island, just to bulk out some seeds and try and give out some to the community. And then you know, also just to bulk them out. I don't have a ton of seeds from those, so I just kind of need to bulk them out as well. So I want to make sure we give some of those out as well, just in case I ever have an incident like your father just went through, and your brother and stuff. That, you know, if you do lose them all and you lose everything, at least you can ask somebody for those seeds back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the other thing. We were getting ready to start a grow down there, so I took all of my backup seeds down there and was going to start working with some of those, and that kind of sucked. I had some really cool stuff that I got from people in the PFA that I always hold on to. I got it right before my outdoor got shut down. What was that, like 4 years ago? There's like 3 years easy worth of me bitching on the podcast, but I think we got shut down. I think it was 4 years ago or so that we got that I got those seeds, and I was finally going to start in the spring next year. We were setting up to have a greenhouse down there, and now they're just literally toasted. So that sucks. Like it wasn't. Luckily, like the ones that Mr. Green Gene sent me, and those G13 ones that you left me, and some of the other ones that I was already planning on running here, I kept here. But it sucks to lose. I don't know, probably. I guess not a ton of them, but maybe like 15 different strains, probably 30 seeds each, give or take. So that always sucks.
Yeah.
Probably the worst was the guns. My dad had a number of like older guns that were like octagon barrel, like super old Pioneer style weapons, muzzle loaders, a lot of really old stuff. Some of it was worth a lot of money. And so who knows what's left of those. We gotta wait till we can get in the gun safe. But I also heard that looters took a bunch of stuff also. So people came in and started, like, I know my neighbor said that, or I guess my dad's neighbor said that somebody came in and already broke into their safe. So they had gotten an escort in to see what was up with their property. When they got there, somebody had already drilled into, broken into their safe, and looted a bunch of stuff off the property. So not excited that, probably anything that did survive, anything of value is probably already gone anyway. So the fires are no joke, man. It's tough. And this one was, we've been dealing with wildfires in that area for a long time. I remember the 87 fires were really bad. But in this particular case, man, it just moved so fast and burned so hot. I seen pictures of like aluminum drift boats that were turned into puddles. So the entire boat just melted and turned into a puddle sitting around the trailer frame because it burned so hot. Some older heavy equipment just completely melted. All the tires just exploded. It's just crazy how fast all that stuff can disappear. So, I mean, it's what, 140,000 acres now, I think, is the footprint, and they would say like 40,000 acres is what burned the hottest, and it's right around that one valley there that had a number of different homes in it. So it's been tough. So anything that we can do for them, I know we've been, like I said, we've been organizing supply drops for people that can't get to other stuff. So if you can't get to the shelter or whatever, there's, just reach out and people can, drive stuff out to you. That's what we do. So shout out to those guys down at like the YMCA in Medford have been awesome to handle with that. The Baptist church, I can't remember the name of it, but it's right across the street there too. So it's been really cool to see everyone come out and really take care of each other in such a horrible time. But it's going to take a while for like Talon, Phoenix, and everyone to rebuild, just because it's basically half the town. You can drive down and see where, like, on one side of the freeway, pretty much everything is still left, and then on the other side, it looks like a bomb went off. So it's going to be a bit.
Yep. And then other than that, I've just been working on some edible stuff and some other stuff for the market out here. Just, I've been making edibles for a long time, just kind of making some side stuff to kind of pay the bills, in between grows.
For sure. I know you
grows all the time.
On, right?
What's that?
Did you say you've been working on lemonade?
Yeah, we have a killer lemonade that's been super popular. We had an event last weekend where we had nothing but good feedback, which was super fun. And yeah, I don't know, it's been fun. Working a lot in the lab, just hanging out, working with a lot of fun people. Get to hang out with a lot of my friends at work and stuff, and just, I don't know, around people I like, doing stuff I enjoy. Kind of at least a little bit of a respite from how crazy the rest of the year has been. So I can't complain.
That's awesome. How's the lab going? Everything running good?
Going good, and yeah, and then some of my other projects I've been working on have been kind of slowly panning out. So coming together, and then yeah, I don't know. We'll kind of see how things go the rest of the year. You never know; things can always go sideways. But
for me, I'm excited just for it to cool off and
yeah.
Be able to run the indoor.
Oh yeah, we're starting a new greenhouse. We're going to be working on a veggie greenhouse here at the house. Try and grow some veggies here through the winter, some cold tolerant stuff and winter crop stuff, and maybe do some just traditional soil growing out there, just for the sake of the winter. Maybe upgrade that to aquaponics come summertime. But I think we have some really cool neighbors that we live on the same property, but we are on opposite ends of the property. So I think we're going to kind of build a joint veggie garden here for the winter, because we kind of just realized we both are into gardening a couple of days ago, and we're like, hey man, we should just combine forces since we're both doing the same shit on the same property. So I think that's going to be awesome and fun to work with. And then other than that, just taking care of, I have a pupper who's about 6 months old, so dealing with a teenager in that regard right now has been fun. So or not always fun, but always entertaining for sure. And I don't know, other than that, just kind of gearing up for the conference and working on the class with you. Marty and I have been getting very close to finish. We have, I think, 2 more sections left to finish recording, and then we have a couple of like spot topics that we have set aside to record or re-record, where we didn't have the best audio, or we had some hiccups because of internet connection or something like that. But other than that, we're almost finished with that. So we're hoping to have that out sometime in October. So super stoked on that. Barring anything else coming up, I think we'll have that out sometime in October. So I'm really excited on that.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Get that all put together and wrapped up. So excited.
Oh yeah, I know you've been putting a lot of time in editing it and everything else. So
yeah, it hasn't been too bad. It's been, for the most part, just chopping it up to start with. I'm not going to get real fancy with it, but it's still a lot of hours. So it's a lot of listening, cutting, putting things back together. So it's not. It's a little tedious, I guess. But aside from that, I don't feel like it's going to take a long time to polish up, because we basically just record in such long sessions that doesn't require a ton of editing. So that's definitely nice. But it'll just be good to get it done and just be able to have something finished instead of just feeling like you're constantly working on it. Because it is hard, because we add stuff all the time, or we change stuff, or sometimes we'll just be talking to someone on the podcast and be like, oh, we got to go back and update that. Sometimes it's something that just has to be added, or sometimes it's new information. Sometimes it's a complete side topic that we didn't even consider before. So it's I definitely have a better perspective of what it's like to try and edit a movie like to fit within a certain amount of time. I can definitely see how like I can't imagine like Endgame is you know 3 hour long movie, and I'm sure they still wanted to shove more stuff inside of it. So I can definitely appreciate that. But again, the longer we go and the longer it drags on, the more stuff we get to add. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Michelle wants to know, how is the 3D printer? Well, I have 2 3D printers now, which is great because now I can do twice as much stuff. However, I broke one of them. It's just a belt though, so as soon as the belt gets here, it'll be back together. But I did run, so this is a piece. Obviously, this is just a T, but this will fit together. I'm trying to get it. Right now, it's not real smooth. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I need to get the model a little bit better so that it doesn't have all these little bumps on it, where it's just going to create, it's not going to seal very well. It's going to create little holes and leak. But but I do really like it. I think that I'll be able to do what I want to do, which is create some custom aquaponic parts, which is going to be awesome. The U siphon, I think, is going to be a little bit more complicated, but ideally it'll just fit on the end of your drain and allow you to set the height of your siphon. Similar to what I do now, but just kind of all in one piece. Just fit together and slide, hopefully. It may not be quite that easy, but that's the idea behind it. And then the other stuff will just be, I think there are a couple models that I'm going to adapt that already exist for doing drip systems for the dual root zone, which is just going to be on a separate timer. So I'll be able to put all that together, print the parts for it, as opposed to buying the store, which will be nice. And I also think I'll be able to use or adjust them to make them better adapted for solids, which is always the issue when you're using a drip system with aquaponics or any type of tea, like microbial based stuff at all. You can get clogged up pretty easy just with microbial growth and stuff inside of it. So definitely going to have mostly free flowing with just a little small area at the end that you'll be able to pop off and clean out if it does clog. So I don't think we'll be able to solve the problem of it clogging, but I do think that we'll be able to clean it out relatively easily. So those are the things that I'm working on with the 3D printer. And then the dual root zone pot, that's what I have the bigger printer for. That's the one that needs a belt. So when it gets back up and running again, then I'll be able to start printing the dual root zone pot, which is essentially just like a normal pot, except for it has a mesh filter on it.
So.
And I think I'm gonna make one that doesn't have a true bottom. Essentially, it'll be a mesh bottom, and then it'll have feet that can stick down into the media bed, as opposed to setting the pot all the way down in the media bed and having media inside of it. This pot would have feet that stick down into the media bed and a mesh bottom so that the plant can grow through it. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. I did start the models of it, but I'm kind of a noob for creating my own models, so it's going to take a little bit to get that part done. But I have lots of stuff like existing models for just general parts and stuff like this that I can get in the printer all dialed in on now, and it saves me money on looking at other stuff. So I'm excited for that, and good stuff.
Sweet. All righty. Well, if you guys are interested in checking out the conference, conference or finding out more, definitely check us out here at the Potent Ponics YouTube channel, October 3rd and 4th at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific. I want to show everybody how to find you there, Marty.
Oh yeah, you can find me on YouTube at AP Meds, on Instagram at AP Meds, Aquaponic Cannabis Growers Group on Facebook. And then you can find me any of those places.
Awesome. And you can find me right here at the Potent Ponics YouTube channel, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, all the things. Also, the podcast will be recorded and reposted after the conference. I'm going to probably repost them as individual videos, just so that people can watch the talks individually. So there might be a day or two in between the re-upload, just for the sake of making sure everything goes smoothly. But all of it will be available after the conference if you do miss it. So, but I do hope to have you there live, and we'll be giving away all kinds of cool stuff. Definitely check it out. So we hope to see you there, Potent Ponics YouTube channel. And we're going to hop over on the Embracing Organic show. And we'll see you guys. Cheers.